Brown 45! Brown 45! Hot, 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 hot!
Welcome back. It's season 2 of Ball and Chain. We are back for year 2023. Cooper, how are you doing?
I can't even begin to find the words to describe my excitement for this season, Brian. It's going to be
Ecstatic.
electric. Absolutely electric.
Esoteric, if you will.
Ooh.
I love that. Wow. Have we got a jam-packed episode for you? Ladies and gentlemen, today, boys, are going to be a hot one. Cooper, what should we start off with on this glorious day?
Man. We got to start at the beginning. We got to start at the first round of the draft. Looking at the draft board, the first couple slots, I think, no surprise. So, one of the new managers to the league, Mr. L. Bergeron of LA Ligma FC, took JJ, the Minnesota Viking, his home team, town favorite, in the first spot. No surprises there. I don't think anyone's going to be upset with that pick.
Frankly, is anybody surprised? Again, I'll reiterate my concerns. I really thought he was going to draft an all Minnesota Vikings team, call himself the Purple People Eaters, and get last place in the league. So I'm glad it did not go that way.
Yeah, absolutely. Who else in looking at those first 5 picks? Any surprises there? I mean, we went JJ, we went Jamar, we went Christian McCaffrey, Eckler, and Kelsey. I think had you aggregated the top 200 boards out there online, that would have been 1 through 5 pretty much on the dot. Not a whole lot of creativity in those top spots, just doing what you need to do, mailing it in.
I think you're right. A bit of surprise for me. I did a little pre-draft scouting, as I am known to do.
As you do. Got your hand in the cookie jar at all times.
My hand is in the cookie jar. It's all over the place. And I talked to the owner of Mr. LeBron's third leg, and he was on the phone with me. He was saying, hey, I really think I want a wide receiver this year. I really think, how does Cooper Kupp sound? We get in the draft, boom. Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, he doesn't even think about it. It's an auto pick for Christian McCaffrey.
Pick.
I was lied to. I feel cheated and lied to. So
I have a
there's
suspicion. I think he spoke to the manager of the Silly Willies and just got even a glimpse as to what happened to that team's season last year after Kupp went on IR in, week 4 or 5? I think there's too much risk there for me. I'm glad he stayed away from Kupp.
Boy, decimated his season. Absolutely, just put him in the dumps. Although he did not finish last that year. Cooper, if you could remind me who finished last year?
Yeah, I will take that one with full credit. I know during the draft, Jimmy was quite harsh on some of my management styles last year. I think there's a lot of validity to what he said. I was an inexperienced manager. I did not do my due diligence and preparation. The league commissioner, which was the one making these criticisms, also informed the league of the draft about 15 minutes before. I was 30,000 feet in the air. So, not to say it was an excuse. I really doubted myself. I went back on some decisions. I sat Ramondre Stevenson when he scored 41 points.
Your favorite player, no less.
Well, we'll get back to him in a minute. Talk about glue guys on teams.
Not to get
But
off
look,
topic. Cooper,
this isn't about me. I want to talk about the Bikini Bottom Goobers taking Tony Pollard at 9. I saw some boards with him at 2.6. So tell me, did he pay too much?
Did he pay too much for Tony Pollard in the first round? 100%, absolutely, no doubt. Absolutely. In the first round? Are you insane? Although
there's a lot of recency bias there with his season last year. He's not going to be RB9 again. I'll tell you that much.
You don't think he's going to be RB9?
He might be 8, but he's not going to be 9.
Cooper, we may have different viewpoints here, but we'll get to that a little bit later.
Please.
The thing is with the Cougars, he flip-flopped his first 2 picks. Stephon Diggs should have went first, and Tony Pollard should have went second. I mean, what are we doing here? Do your scouting. I mean, he's fine, but like,
I don't dislike it. When you look at the guys underneath him on the draft, right? We've got Patrick's Plums, the Child Killers, and the Unhampered Undies, which I got to say right now, not a team name I enjoy. I think that manager needs to have a little bit more respect for the guys on the field. But when you look at those 3 in the snake draft taking the turn, they're all taking a wide receiver and a running back. You know that the previously Mommy Milkers took Diggs last year. He was a moderate player. I don't think you're seeing him go back to the same squad. We know that Jimmy just has a disdain for the Bills. And I don't think Patrick's Plums is old enough to know who the Bills are. So I think it was a pretty safe bet to go with Pollard first and then sweep Diggs in the second.
As a safe bet, and it did work out for him.
It did.
That being
Agreed.
said, I think we should preview some of the top drafts from draft night.
Let's do it. Why don't you kick us off?
I would love to kick us off. The best drafts that we've seen this year, Cooper, I was going to give you a top 3. But I don't think it would paint an accurate picture of the layout of the league at the moment. What I really think I think it's 2 juggernauts at the top and then everybody else under the river there.
Okay.
So at the 3, you can take your pick of Dongus, Patrick's Plums, or I even may have you in that spot. But your 1-2, your heavy hitters, and I think you know what's coming, is Silly Willy and the Florida Man. Man.
Silly Willy?
You know what? And even more to Silly Willy. Silly Willy has my number 1 ranking post-draft. Absolutely. No. He's got no holes at all. I love it. Top to bottom.
Wow.
And you know what? I can say the same thing about the Florida Man. However, he has more question marks than the Silly Willy does. He's got Justin Fields, who I think is a bum. He's got Jahmyr Gibbs, rookie for the Lions, bit of a homer pick. But what are you going to do? He's got Cooper Kupp, obviously, we saw what happened to the Silly Willies last year. But that being said, it goes 1 Silly Willies, 2 the Florida Man, and then everybody else.
That is absolutely absurd. I have to ask, is your pick for for Silly Willy at 1 a little bit biased because he took Lamar?
Because he took Lamar? No. I think that's a criticism. I don't like the Lamar
Lamar
pick.
was a certified bum last year. You, of all people, would know. I don't see it for the Silly Willies.
In the beginning, he was a beast in the beginning. If
in
you can say healthy, in the beginning.
Great, Cooper Kupp was a beast in the beginning.
Mm-hmm. I don't think he'll stay healthy. And that is my only gripe with the Silly Willies.
You know, the Silly Willies are a respectable team. I think they learned a lot last year going in as the number 1 predicted spot. Obviously having some hiccups throughout the year. And then really just fading into oblivion. I think there was a lot of... I think back to the episode we had when we had the manager on Ball and Chain, and just the brokenness, the shattered man that we witnessed in that instance.
You're now projected to finish 8th in the league.
Well, currently, you have 6 players who are currently questionable or on IR.
Holy shit.
What the hell are you going to do about that? You're in trouble, buddy.
You mentioned Kupp. Zeke's questionable. K-Met's questionable. Devonta Smith's questionable. Mark Andrews is questionable. Valdez-Scantling is questionable. I mean, the list goes on and on.
My low is probably today.
Wow.
I feel like I've just had no answers, and it hurts. My team deserves better, and I'll do better.
I have to believe he's bounced back. I haven't gotten a chance to speak to the manager myself since draft day and see how he's feeling about it, but I hope everyone at home is really rooting for him this season.
I am rooting for him. I hope he can do a little bit better, but yeah, I hope a mental meltdown, as it were, does not happen again this year for the Silly Willies. Mm-hmm.
Now, Brian, I think there's a team that you very much omitted from your rankings, and I'm just going to go out and toss my number 1 spot there. I don't think there was a whole lot of hype around this manager on draft day. He had a sneaky good lineup. We've talked about him already on this episode. It's going to be Chris Morley of the Bikini Bottom Goobers.
The Goobers are number 1.
Look, talk about a team with no major holes in it. We've got Joe Burrow, Tony Pollard, Rashad White. Rashad White is going to explode this year with Leonard Fournette off the field. White was already picking up receptions. He was already the main playmaker. The last quarter of the season, I think there's RB1 potential there. So really, he's running two RB1s. Call that RB3. Diggs, Tyler Lockett, Juju Smith. You've got a formidable team there. Not to mention, he's got Mark Andrews as his tight end. Easily the second best tight end in the league.
That is
Easily.
nice. Clear cut number 2.
Not done. Dick or the kicker.
I love
Dick or the kicker.
He's a great player. You gotta love him. Did you just bring up Juju Smith-Schuster?
As a flex player, I think he
As
does
a
what you need him
flex?
to do.
Cooper, please
I
enlighten
do.
me. What team was he on last year?
He, much like Daniel Ricciardo, for the F1 fans out there, took some time to work on himself, get in the simulator, really work up here. And I can respect that in a player.
He was with the Kansas City Chiefs. Would you say that perhaps the best offense in the NFL?
I think that's a fair claim to make.
What the hell did he do with Patrick Mahomes? He was not a viable fantasy start. And you're going to put him on the Patriots with Mac Jones, macaroni and cheese? Are you kidding me? Mac 11? Mac 15, whatever his number is, I don't even remember? Absolutely not. That guy's going to bust. He's busting harder than anybody's ever seen. As a flex, no. And also, you're wrong on Rashad White. You're just wrong.
Okay, look.
He's just bad.
We can argue about the players on the field all day. You're forgetting the most important part of this is the manager at the reins. Chris Morley is a man that I have seen work hard, dedicated all of last season to a very respectable second place. And he's been one of the most active GMs the entire offseason. Organizing league efforts, really crowdsourcing. He's been great. He's been great. I think that's a man with dedication. I have no concerns about his involvement, his passion in the league week over week, which is not to be said for a lot of the managers, especially the new ones in the league.
Oh, we got a little beef stirring, a little beef stroganoff stirring there.
Little beak stroke me off.
Ooh, maybe she will. Cooper, enough making people feel good about themselves. Who had the worst draft? Who had the worst draft?
This is not even close. And I'm gonna save you the heartache. It's not you, Brian.
Oh,
Your draft was entirely forgettable, but it wasn't downright bad. It was not a manager who went back to the same crutches that he'd had previously. It was not a manager that is one of the biggest trash talkers in this league. It was not a manager who doesn't know what their team name is. I'm talking about the Unhampered Undies.
Oh, look at that. Cooper, can I tell you something?
You got the same thing.
He's my worst draft as well. He's absolutely horrible. What was he thinking?
There was no identity to this team.
No identity.
I gotta let you know, I included some outside sources here. I did a little bit of analysis across third-party data. Got all of the teams ranked based off their draft. And I want to clarify this is just starters. I think it's too early in the season to even care who's on a bench. Most of our league was ranked... We had 4 players in the A, either A or A-. We had 5 players in B, either B, B+, B-, 1 in the C, and then we had an F.
An F?
An F.
A Timmy Turner F?
A
Mr.
Timmy
Crocker gave him
Turner
an F?
F.
Oh, my God. And,
If I can...
Who was it, pray tell?
This was Mr. Matt Fannin.
Wow.
If I can read you the one-liner that was given with this report, it's time to invest in some pension plans.
I love the young
This team
people.
has nothing. Precarious position of being weak in at least 2 of the 3 core positions.
Wow.
Initial analyses show a 55% of making the playoffs with great in-season management. Anything average, and it's at a 1% of making the playoffs this year.
1%? Oh,
1%.
There's no way. Listen, to
Tell
be
me,
fair,
how old is Derrick Henry?
I don't know, 87 years old. He's probably nearing his 37th birthday. I'm not sure.
Garrett Jefferson is as hot as the Trump mugshot meme this week.
Garrett,
He's getting locked up by every outside back the entire season. It's
Garrett Jefferson.
in the second.
And
Absolutely
Garrett Wilson.
not.
Garrett Wilson in the second was a reach, especially at the 2-1.
The 2-1
At the
is
2-1, it's a bit of a reach.
atrocious. DeAndre Hopkins, I think Matt only did this to try and relieve some of the guilt he's felt over the past year for such blood money under the table collusion as last year.
Oh my goodness!
He took the Steelers defense special teams.
Hi, it was believe it or not, was it the first or second defense taken?
It was higher than it should have been. For certain.
Higher than Jimmy's dirty Dallas Cowboys pick, that bastard. I hate him.
Yeah, boy.
We'll get back to that in a minute.
I'm sure we will. Oh, wow.
Tell me, Brian, within all of the picks, right? We're talking aggregate level right now, teams as a whole. Tell me a pick that you really enjoyed seeing pop up on that board.
Oh, perhaps my boom? My
Your
boom this
boom.
week?
Your boom,
My
please.
boom? Wow. You had a lot of great players to pick from. We had the likes of... I really like Tony Pollard, and you don't for some fucking reason. I don't know why.
In the first?
In the first, too much, but he's going to be a great player. Is that a boom
will.
pick? No. Is he a boom player? Yeah. He is. We're talking about him, but he's not my guy. We can put him in. We can talk about Devontae Smith. I love him.
Mm-hmm.
We can even talk about Gabe Davis, but I think we're really going to be talking about a guy that you picked up in the 4th round. It's Mr. Calvin Ridley.
Calvin.
Wow. What a pick. That's great. Sneaking him off in the 4th, as we talked about on draft day, I was considering taking him in the 3rd at the beginning of the 3rd.
As was I. Had Ramondre not still been on the board, Calvin would have been up in a heartbeat.
That's a great pick at the 4. He's fantastic. He's gonna be great, I think, in that Jacksonville high-powered offense. He's gonna be throwing it. Trevor Lawrence is gonna be slinging it. That being said,
there's gonna be good things
Trevor
going
Lawrence
on.
a lot, but he's the
Nor
number
do I.
1. He's the number 1.
Agreed.
He's gonna get some yak.
Brian, I want to take us a couple rounds past that pick of Calvin Ridley, all the way down to the end of the 6th.
Oh wow.
We had one Mr. Logan Bergeron absolutely snipe Miles Sanders off the board. I think this is a pick that a little bit contested. He had solid production, solid efficiency with the Eagles. There's no one else on the Panthers that's going to challenge him for any of those touches, any of those carries.
That could be good.
I think that's a 6th round pick that is easily a lock for the flex all year. If he starts out hot, I could see him very easily taking the RB2 position pretty quickly on that team.
I mean, he's got to be in there now. Jonathan Taylor's not doing anything for the next 4
Yeah,
weeks, so he's got to be playing.
What a perfect transition to the most low-hanging fruit of a bust possible. Taking JT in round 2. Not 2 days later, he goes on the PUP list.
Wow. Unbelievable. Like, to think that his first round pick last year was a bust, and his second round pick this year was also a bust. The guy cannot catch a break. Jonathan Taylor managers cannot catch a break.
I don't know how you go anywhere near that man after what happened last season.
I couldn't do it. Wow.
Anyone else on the board that you think was maybe overpriced or was paid too much for?
Absolutely.
Let me hear.
That's my boof, if you will. I mean, I'm not going to talk about Bijan. I'm not going to talk about Travis Etienne, the Clementine. I'm not going to talk about him. You know who I'm going to talk about?
Who's that?
New
Brian?
Chicago Bears wide receiver DJ Moore.
Oh.
I do not know why people keep thinking that Justin Fields can throw a football, but he can't. He cannot. He's a running back at playing as quarterback. Oh, he's going to be the new Jalen Hurts with the new number 1 wide receiver. No, he's not. Justin Fields is a bum. Let me give you a few stats.
Please,
Chicago,
please.
guess what? 31st in wide receiver targets last year.
How many teams
are in the NFL?
Only
32.
a couple more.
32.
We talked draft. Again, we spoke very little on the actual in-season management, the head-to-heads, the weekly toilings and troubles that one's face when injuries come along, when you're going against rivals. this is where we separate the boys from the men. Brian, I got to know, who's winning the league this year?
Who's winning the league?
Who's winning the league?
Cooper, as you recall from my strongest drafts, I had the Silly Willies and the Florida Man in that 1-2 spot.
You did.
Well, first of all, I can tell you it's not going to be the Silly Willies. You want to know why?
Why is that?
And this may hurt him to hear. Poor coaching. He was he was in the bottom half, if not last, in my coaching metric last year. It's gonna come around.
A very
again.
reputable metric, according to, to the experts.
It is. We're gonna update that this year, by the way. Keep a lookout for that. Like we talked about, Lamar's injury prone, and you know what? I just don't think he's gonna do it. And also, guess what? It's not gonna be John. It's not gonna be John either. Too many question marks. Somebody's getting hurt. I don't like it.
Okay.
You know who is gonna win?
I would love for you to tell me.
The Patrick's Plums. I think the
Patrick's
got a great
Plums
roster.
are taken. I gotta pull up this roster.
You have to have some foresight here. You have to have some foresight.
They're not
Brees
even
Hall,
in- oh my-
while he may be
okay.
getting like 7 points projected right now, but he's going to be a beast by the end of the year. Dalvin Cook's old. He's going to be out of the equation. He's going to have 2 running back ones. Trevor Lawrence is going to be at end of season form. His wide receiver 1 and 2 are both wide receiver 1s in DK Metcalf and Devontae Adams. I love David Njoku. And Scary Terry's all right. Like, he's there. He's okay. He's got the Chiefs kicker. I think by the end of the year, he's going to have enough wins compiled. His player's going to be ready. They're going to be in the right form, and he's going to get it done.
Wow. I can't be upset with that pick by any means. I don't know if the Patrick's Plums... First of all, I see keeping the name Patrick's Plums, given... How is Trevor Lawrence going to feel about that?
Absolutely not. That is changing. That's
I think it's got to change.
simply left over from last season. Yeah.
Brees Hall is such an unknown. Rarely do running backs from an ACL injury come back strong their next season. It usually takes a year, at least a year, if not 2, to come back to full strength. So to say he's going to be an RB1 by halfway through the season to where he's racking up enough points, more than his 7.5 projected currently, is a little optimistic.
I think he's going to be able to eke by enough to get in the playoffs, and he's going to boom. He's going to boom.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay.
Cooper, who you got? Who you got winning the league?
Man, this is a tough one.
It is tough. It's very tough.
I like a lot of the names you mentioned. The Florida Man, the bad guy in the league right now a little bit. There was some controversy around changing the time of the draft just because he wanted to. It's still a little confusing what was going on there.
We're 20 minutes in, and we haven't hated on the Florida Man yet. What are we doing?
Well,
This guy's unprofessional, unlikable, and ugly. That's what he is.
And he lives in Florida.
Perhaps
willingly, by choice.
by choice, and he
By
shoots
choice.
missiles at people. How about that?
Hmm.
Yeah. Anyway,
Can't respect it.
get back to your point.
Brian, I don't see anyone standing out as a strong favorite right now. You mentioned the Florida Men. I think the Bikini Bottom Goobers, I think they're going to finish second again, honestly. They've got a respectable squad. I don't think they have a superstar to really knock them up to the top.
That's what I'm thinking.
Dongus had a decent draft. I don't think that man's got the heart to make it all the way through the season. December is the longest month of the year, and let me tell you, it's cold.
It is cold.
There's times where you're alone, you're down, you got 4 players on the IR and 3 buys. I don't think that's a man who's going to be able to pull himself up by his bootstraps and make it happen.
Wow, when Javonte Williams inevitably tears his ACL in week 7, I don't know if he's going to be able to recover from that.
Brian, I'm going to give maybe the hottest take to start who's winning the league.
You're okay.
This is a man that I played many a times last season. I haven't looked for this season because I know the schedule has changed a little bit.
Is that so?
I might even consider this man my rival in rivalry week at the end of the season. So it pains me to say how strong of a squad he has.
Oh my.
The man hailing from New York, who no longer works for the team's namesake. The New York TikTok guys have a formidable team. Patrick Mahomes is undoubtedly 1 or 2 at QB. It's a positional difference if you can have a positional difference at QB. Najee Harris is due for a breakout. James Cook is a player that I think James Cook could have went in the 3rd. I don't recall exactly where he was taken, but it could have been a whole damn lot higher than where he went.
Oh my God, he was taken in 68th. How's that?
68th.
It's a little high, isn't it?
Brian, I just told you, I think he could have gotten taken in the 3rd.
In the 3rd.
That is a man that is going to explode. I don't think Josh Allen's going to have the season he did last year with coming off the shoulder injury. He was not looking super nimble out there. I don't think Josh Allen is going to take a lot of those goal line runs that he did in the past season. And you know who he's handing that rock off to?
Ooh.
It's James Cook. Every single time.
You're wrong. You're just wrong.
Wrong.
First of all, I think you're jealous that you didn't get Josh Allen back on the roster. You had him last year.
We
You
didn't
wanted
want
him back.
him. We didn't
You couldn't
want him
get
back.
him, and for that
We
you were
didn't want
jealous.
him.
You wanted him. If he was there in the 3rd, you're taking him. Oh my goodness.
Brian,
James-
I've named some very respectable players on this roster. I haven't even mentioned his 1st round pick yet. He's got Kelsey sitting pretty in that tight end position.
Listen.
We've got
He's
Pat
got-
Mahomes and Travis Kelsey on the same squad with James Cook, Amari Cooper, Najee Harris to boot. Chris Godwin's
listen,
playing wide receiver.
Listen.
Who at quarterback? I don't know. Brady's coming back.
Listen, he's got the deadliest stack in the league. You're going to stack Patty with Travis? Are you kidding
It's
me?
a good squad.
It's a
It's a
guaranteed
great squad.
50-point bomb a week there. However, if they're getting 50, he's going to finish with about 68 because everybody else is a bum. Everybody else is not good. George Pickens, no. All he can do is make a spectacular catch every once in a while, and everybody thinks he's a great, consistent wide receiver. Najee Harris wins it coming, wins the breakout coming. It's not this year. It may be next year, but it's not next year either. James Cook, fine. I like him. But as a number 2, absolutely not. Amari Cooper, you're just hyping him up because you got Deshaun. Questionable move there by the Tinglers.
Look.
And who is Chris Godwin's quarterback? Kyle
Doesn't matter.
Trask? I saw him playing in the preseason. If your quarterback is playing in the preseason, you got a bad quarterback. You got a bad quarterback. That should not be news to you. He does have Justin Tucker, though.
I also would like to say he's got probably the hottest and coldest bench I've ever seen. We've got OBJ, who is a meme more than anything.
He's
Tua
been on
doesn't
his
even-
roster since last year. He picked him up halfway through last year, and he kept him into this year.
That's
Oh my
dedication. That's what I look for in a manager.
It is dedication.
Tua doesn't know what he had for breakfast yesterday.
You're gonna live with me now. Huh? I'm gonna take care of you.
I don't know why you're paying. This man took a second quarterback in the last round of the draft with the same bye week as Pat Mahomes.
Same bye week. Oh,
Look, I'm not saying it's perfect because it's far from it. Ezekiel Elliott is not touching the ball this season. I will tell you that much confidently.
that's the Ramondre love coming out a little bit.
That is the Ramondre love. Shout out.
Wow. And Rondale Moore. Come on.
Rondale Moore's a player I respect. He finished on my roster, I believe.
We
got
really
a-
respect Rondale Moore around here.
He's got a lot of upside. He's got a lot
Yeah,
of
really
upside.
stashing Rondale Moore, Arizona's number 3 receiver, to come back in the last 4 weeks of this season when Kyler comes back. That's a nice play. Let's move on to our next segment. The ball and chain game of the week.
I'm excited.
This
we have
week,
some
we've got
solid
the-
teams.
we do. A bit of a rivalry match from last year. What a way to kick off the season. These two managers are very vocal, and boy, do they hate each other. We love to see that old school hate between the coaches. It's the Child Killers versus the Unhampered Undies, I suppose.
That name doesn't last more than a week, I'll tell you right now.
Nor should it. Cooper, give me your keys to the game and give me that pick.
I want to talk about just the absolute bum squad of QBs we have playing this week. Between
no.
old man Aaron Rodgers and Kirk Cousins,
Kirk Cousins.
it's ugly. We have a total... I think Pat Mahomes has projected more points than the two of them combined.
It's a geezer fest. It's an absolute geezer fest. It's bad.
I couldn't
Oh
agree
my.
more. Looking at the running back game, easily given that to the Child Killers with Saquon and Chubb.
Yep.
Just not even an option. I don't think Derrick Henry's getting anywhere near 17 points, let alone the 17-yard line. It's,
I do not. Yeah.
It's not great for him. Looking at the rest of the team, though, I don't know how you have a flex player. This is talking about the Child Killers, by the way. Have a flex player projected 15 points, and you're barely projected over 110. I think that speaks to some real gaps in talent on that squad.
I agree. You want to know why? You want to know why his number 2 is who? It's DJ Moore. Scrub. Scrub.
And
You can listen.
Debo, the way Jimmy was talking about Debo was as if he averaged 15 last season.
It's ridiculous. The guy's
It's just
got this.
not there.
He's got a subscription to the Athletic that he pays for, and there's one guy in here that he loves, and it may as well be the word of God coming out of his mouth. He doesn't believe in his team. He doesn't truly believe in his team. T. Higgins is a 2, not a 3, first of all. But yeah, I don't know. Don't get me started just yet.
I will say, if there's one redeeming quality to that Child Killers team, it's the man with the leg. It's the kicker, the Jake Money Moody.
Oh, we love to see him. We love to see him.
You gotta respect. Go Blue, boys.
Go
Go Blue.
Absolutely. Who you got, Cooper? Who you got winning the game?
Well, I want to say right now, projected is 115, 112 in favor of the unhampered undies.
Real knockout game there.
Real knockout game, yeah. I just don't see a lot to love here. I think it's going to be a bit of a snooze fest. That being said, Greg Dulcich for the Broncos. In preseason, Russ Wilson was the 3rd highest in terms of passes to his tight end. So I like the move there. I think he's going to get a lot more than 7, especially taken in the last round. I do have to commend the Child Killers manager for that pick. I'm going to give this one by a narrow margin to the Child Killers, 109-107.
109-107. Interesting take there. Interesting take. Here are my keys to the game. First of all, when you wake up Monday morning, that's when the game is. These are the headlines, okay? For the Child Killers, it's Saquon stomped by Micah and the Marauders. His own defense, by the way. His own defense.
That's incredible.
Interesting. His own defense. Guess what? However, Chubb trounces the Cincinnati Bengals. He's going to have a great game. He always does. He was on my roster last year. Love the guy.
Biased.
And then, guess what? DJ Moore gets locked up in Green Bay. He gets locked up. Jair Alexander's going to have a field day with him. He's scoring 3 points. For the unhampered undies, I disagree. Derrick Henry will pop off versus
Come
the
over
New
here and
Orleans
kiss
Saints.
me on my hot mouth.
However, Garrett Jefferson was his name. Garrett Jefferson is Garrett Wilson's going to pop off.
Garrett Jefferson is a lovely gentleman who I went to high school with. Him and his beautiful wife, Mary, do have 2 children, and I wish them the best.
That's great. He's going to go off. Oh, wait, no. He's going to be stopped versus Buffalo. That Buffalo defense is nice. And then,
Defense.
you know what's really going to push him over the edge?
What's that?
Graham Gano is going to kick 5 field goals in this game.
5?
5 field goals.
You're
4 to
out
5
of your
field goals.
mind.
4 to 5 field goals. And that is going to bring us to a score of 99 for the Child Killers, 118 for the unhampered undies.
Not even breaking 100. There's a question for you, Brian. First of all, I respect the analysis.
Thank you.
How many teams are breaking 100 week 1?
Wow. I'm going to say, let me take a quick look. Child Killers? Absolutely not. Yep, you're good. They're good. You know what? It's only the Child Killers.
It's only the
It's only the Child Killers. You heard it here first. And that brings us to the end of the show, ladies and gentlemen. Per usual, we have a beautiful bonus segment for all of you.
I was hoping.
Gorgeous bonus segment for us to
I was hoping.
kick off the year. Cooper, we're gonna do it draft style. I'm giving you the pick.
Of course.
However, you're gonna give me 3 characters. Past. It could be real people. They could be fictional characters. They could be anybody who you like. But let me set the scene. You're
Please.
going out. You're getting a beer. You're getting a table. There's 3 other seats at the
There's
bar.
3 seats.
There's 3 seats at the bar. Who is coming to your sit-down chat?
And
Who
we're
is
doing
coming?
this. We're doing this draft style.
We are doing a draft style. You're going to go first. I believe some of the younger kids would call this their dream blunt rotation, but we don't do that around here. We're a family show.
I was going to ask if you were inspired by the recent Dos Equis marketing campaign in which Jeremy Allen White from The Bear hops on the phone with Ludacris, I believe, and
Is that so?
Burgers. Who's the Matt Wahlberg?
The Burger King?
No,
No.
Matt Wahlberg of Wahlberg's Burgers.
Oh, I see. Yes, of course.
Anyways,
Who you
We're at
coming-
the bar.
Who you having long talks into the night with?
this is long talks into the night.
You're getting there at 9 p.m. and you're closing the bar with these fellas. You're getting round after round. You're drinking with them. You're speaking.
I have to
philosophizing.
ask if we can sanction it to be either fictional characters or real people.
Oh, interesting. What would you prefer?
What if I give you a little bit of a twist? We do characters from live action shows or movies. So which are played by actors not animated.
Not animated?
Not animated. It has to be
Alright.
you think like Friends, The Office, Parks and Rec.
That's
You
what
got
I
all
think.
of your traditional sitcoms. Any movie, but like the character from that movie, not the actor or the actress.
Of course. Of course. I'd love to hear what you get.
With the first pick in the draft, the only man, aside from the OG JC himself, to walk on water, I'm going to have to go with Bruce from Bruce Almighty.
Bruce from Bruce Almighty? Oh my god, you didn't take God? Oh, wow, look at that. That's a great pick, though. Wow.
He
You have so
learned
many
so
questions.
much in that movie. He was dating Jennifer Aniston, which is
Nice.
a win in itself.
Very nice.
Morgan Freeman plays God in that movie, so I think speaking to both Morgan Freeman as God and Morgan Freeman himself, Bruce from Bruce Almighty has learned a lot. I think he still has some of the powers. He would split my beer like the Red Sea. I think
That's
it'd be quite a
really
fun
nice.
evening.
That's really nice. Wow. what
How
a
about
great
yourself,
pick.
Brian?
How about myself? I got a couple different picks here I'd like to go with, but I think of the number one, just if you're talking about who's bringing the conversation, who's bringing the fun, we're taking it to It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I'm taking Danny DeVito. I'm taking him. I'm taking Frank, I think is his name, right?
Frank is his
Frank.
name. The trash
Are you
man.
kidding me? Who else do you want at your table? He's going to be
I-
an energy bomb.
I can't argue with that. I don't know if you're making it to the end of the night with him in the bar. You might be out doing some stuff in the back alley.
That is the hope. That is the
That
hope.
is the hope.
That is the hope.
I'm gonna have to go with Neo from The Matrix.
Neo's drinking a beer, dude. He's not fun at all.
Listen, the things he has seen, the places his mind has gone,
Absolutely.
would
That-
certainly turn mine inside out.
Cooper, he's going to be sitting here like this the whole night.
You did inspire me precisely.
He's not going to have any fun. That being said, great guy. Great guy.
Give me your second.
It's a home run, if you will. I'm taking the anchor man. Ron Burgundy is sitting at the table. You pair him with Danny DeVito, anything could happen. We're gonna fight. We're gonna fight the waiter. We're gonna fight the guy that comes after him. The other anchor men are gonna come in. We're gonna fight them. He's a great guy, and I admire his suits and his mustache. Surprised you didn't take him.
It's a good pick. I think it's a little vanilla, if you ask me.
Wow, I can't believe you.
Final pick
Final pick.
on the table. I gotta go to the recesses of my mind for this one.
The recesses, you said.
Just picturing drinking my beer.
Who's there? Who is there?
We're gonna have a little recency bias here. One I have mentioned from a Dos Equis commercial. It's gonna have to be Carmi, the bear, from the bear,
The bear?
the man, the myth, the legend.
Is that so? What is he bringing to the table?
He's bringing absolute high octane energy, cigarettes, culinary knowledge, gastronomic glory. He is bringing the heat.
The heat.
I don't want this to be a fun evening. Let me make that clear. This is going to be the most intense evening of mine and every other bar patron's night.
Oh my god. You know what, Cooper? I do want mine to be a fun evening. You know who I'm taking with the last pick?
Who are you taking?
I'm taking Madea.
Who?
Medea's coming. Madea. She's coming and she's sitting down at the table. She's going to bring a great perspective to our conversation. Ron Burgundy and Danny
What
DeVito.
is she contributing?
What is she contributing? What can she not contribute? She'll be there for the fight. She'll be there for the adventure after. And she'll put down more beers than anybody at the table. That's a great pick.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Fair enough.
Well, Brian,
All right.
we're 43 minutes into season 2 of Ball and Chain. I am so extremely excited for the things we have prepared for this year. I'm going to switch up the format a couple times, have some great guest interviews, both managers of the league, as well as some outside analysts and experts.
Absolutely.
I don't think this is one that the people are going to want to miss.
It's not. People, you need to be tuning in each and every week to the Ball and Chain to get all of your fantasy updates. And you know
Absolutely.
what, Cooper? To finish us off, what are your goals for the season? What do you want out of the season?
What would I like out of the season? A positive record. That's step one.
For once, of course.
More importantly, I would like a team that doesn't score less than 90 points any week in the season. I would love consistency. I don't need anything over 125 any week of the year. My IQR, if you will, interquartile range for you math nerds out there, 90 to 125.
A 125. No idea what an IQR is, but I'll believe you. Cooper, can I tell you my goal?
What is your goal, Mr. Flowers?
It's a simple one, and it's a simple one at that. Go out and get another one of these. Get another one of these.
What did you get that from?
Don't worry about it.
Another
Another championship.
volleyball?
We're bringing another championship home to the Justin's Jets / Herbert's Hogs / Devontae's Dogs. That's the only goal. It's championship or bust.
I'm excited to see it. One final question for you. Really, some advice for the listeners out there. For those that maybe are waiting until the last minute in their league to conduct the draft, what one piece of advice can you give maybe to new, inexperienced managers as they look at their draft lineup for the upcoming season?
Don't panic. Don't panic. Get a good 2 wide receivers. Get some solid running backs. Take one in the first and take one in the 4th and 5th. And ride it out, baby. You'll be fine.
Is this from learning in your own draft when your plan went to shit by round 3?
The plan never went to shit. It was all a ruse.
There was never a plan.
The plan
is
has
what I'm
gone
convinced of.
exactly how I wanted it. I'm sitting
Well,
pretty. In fact, I'm winning the league. I've changed my
Absolutely
prediction.
not. Absolutely not. Mr. Flowers,
Absolutely not.
such a pleasure as always having
Of
my
course.
chain here with me. It's wonderful.
Of course. And ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you next week.